All right, these are your notes over population growth. Essential question: how do populations grow, and how do organisms regulate their body temperature? Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about is population growth, exponential, logistic, all that good stuff, life strategies, and then thermoregulation. Go ahead and jot this down as we talk about it. So population growth is how a group of organisms grows over time. So the first one we talked about was exponential growth. It's our green, it's J-shaped, and it is extremely rapid growth. It grows extra or extraordinary. Across the bottom is time, and across the side is the number of organisms. So in a very short amount of time, they start growing up like crazy. Logistic growth is S-shaped. It's our red right here. Bam. The population levels off at a carrying capacity. Carrying capacity is our purple dotted line. It's the max number of organisms that the area can support. So it cannot go above that right there. The blue dot is where logistic and exponential breaks off. That's the point where resources became limiting. It could no longer keep growing up like crazy. The limiting factor is the one resource that really limited the population and made it level off at a carrying capacity. Human population growth. This is us. Some questions: how big can we get? 6, 7, 8, 9 billion people. What are some issues that could arise with our exponential growth? So when we start filling up the earth, what are some issues that are going to arise with our resources and all of that stuff? Okay, strategies. There are two strategies, K and R. K strategists care for their young. K, think kangaroo. So they have logistic growth. They level off at a carrying capacity. It can go up a little bit above, a little bit below, a little bit above, but it's in general this carrying capacity right here. Their main influence is density dependent factors. What you need to know is that it's the living stuff. So the prey and predators, things that eat them and what they eat, that is what limits their population. Okay. Logistic growth, S-shaped. They have large body sizes, long lifespan. They're going to put energy into making big things and living for a long time. They care for their young, so they just have a few of them so that they can take care of them. And then this is extra, you don't need to know this, but this is our living factors that influences them. Okay, opposite of that are R strategists. Think reproduction. R is for reproduction, and roaches. They grow really fast and then they die off. Here we got grow, die, fast, and then die. Their main influence is abiotic or non-living things. So what causes them to die off periodically is the weather or water or things like that. This is S-shaped growth, J. They have small body size and they just live for a short amount of time. They have lots of babies. R was for reproduce, and they don't take care of them. They have hundreds or thousands of babies at once, and then they just let them go, and they don't take care of them. And the reason they do that is because they have so many that they hope that at least some will grow and reproduce. All right, last thing, thermoregulation. Thermo is heat. Regulation is how you control something. So controlling your body temperature. There are two different ways, endotherm and ectotherms. You can think of it as warm-blooded and cold-blooded, but that's not the true scientific terms that we're going to use, but that helps you remember it. So endo is inside. So they control their body temperature on the inside automatically, and it's a steady state. Their strategies, they do this by sweating, shivering, their blood vessels contract and dilate, and then their cells have individual ways of keeping their body temperature the same. Ecto is outside, so they cannot regulate their body temperature on the inside, so whatever the temperature is on the outside, that's what their temperature is on the inside. So they have to move to the sun or shade, or they move underground, or they migrate. So they cannot do it on their own on the inside. Okay, this is a graph explaining those things. So we've got the snake is an ectotherm, whatever it is on the outside is what he is. The bobcat, endotherm, inside. So the body temperature over here, and then we've got ambient or outside temperature across the bottom. So the snake, if it is 0 degrees outside, his body temperature is 0 degrees. 20 degrees outside, he's 20 degrees. 40 degrees outside, he's 40 degrees as ectotherm. Endotherm, he has a relatively stable body temperature. When it's 10 degrees outside, he's 38. When it's 30 degrees outside, he's 39, 40, 39. So he's able to do things on the inside. Be able to fill in this graph with R, K and R strategists. Tell me all of these things about them. And then this is tying it into the lab and how it relates to our lab. So in the lab, you are going to explain how an endo/ectotherm relates to cellular respiration. Okay, so that is our breathing and taking in our glucose and making ATP. So here's your hint. If each one is put in different temperatures, so if you put an endotherm and an ectotherm in different temperatures, what does their body temperature do? Okay, as we just talked about. And then what happens to the movement of particles inside of them? So an ectotherm, if it gets hotter on the outside, what is its temperature on the inside? Hotter. And so what's going to happen to the movement of stuff inside of them? They're going to move faster. So what happens to the rate of cellular respiration if things are moving faster? Cellular respiration is going to increase or decrease? Increase. It's going faster. So how much what's that going to do to CO2? Is that going to increase or decrease? Increase. So more CO2. And then that's what we're going to test on the lab. You're going to see that CO2 and see how much it's putting off, how much it's breathing. All right. Have a great rest of your day.